All right, this is section 8-9, so the final section of the semester. Pretty exciting stuff. This requires us to think a little bit about graphs and quadratics and things like that, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed by it. So I'm just going to do some really preliminary stuff. If I have a graph of a quadratic, and remember quadratic is anything that's ax squared plus bx plus c, then it could possibly look something like this. Okay? And if I set it equal to 0, what I'm really trying to do is find these 2 points, wherever it hits the x-axis, okay? Because that's where the y value equals 0 is here and here, okay? Okay, so now if I wanted to say that whatever this formula is less than 0, I really am talking about this area, right? And if I want to say that ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0, then I'm really talking about these guys, right? So that's the idea behind what we're doing. We're going to be solving some of these inequalities, but what we're going to do is solve it just like we normally do, pretending this is an equal sign, and then we're going to find these 2 points. Sometimes when we're doing cubics and things like that, we'll have 3 points, but with quadratics, we're just finding 2 points, and then we're going to determine if the solution set is what's under here, between these, or if it's it right here and here, so on the outside. And I use what's called the Oreo method. Okay, so for the Oreo method, you can imagine really big cookies right here, right? And this is the cream, so it's either the cookies, it has to be both of them, right? The cookies or the cream, right? So it's either going to be, your answer is either going to be the cookies, so it's going to be both sides of this, so this all the way to negative infinity, this all the way to infinity, or what's between these. Okay, so Oreo method, cookies and cream. Well, let's get started. So I've got x squared plus 3x minus 10 is greater than 0. Okay, so I'm just going to try to factor this first. X, positive 5, negative 2, perfect, it works, greater than 10. Sorry, let me start over. Obviously, people make mistakes like this all the time, including me. What did I do wrong? You might be saying in your head, you didn't move the 10 over. So I need to move the 10 over. So this becomes x squared plus 3x minus 10 is greater than 10 minus 10 minus 10. Then I have x squared plus 3 minus 3x, sorry, minus 20 is greater than 0. Okay? Now, the important thing for me to do at this point is to figure out, okay, so we could solve this problem. Hold on. If you're writing in your paper, some of you I know get really angry, and when I have to erase something or change it, you get really freaked out because you have to rewrite everything. Calm down. You can just scratch through it. That's okay. Just for the sake of this problem, it is x squared plus 3x minus 10 is greater than 0. Okay? So, let's start off by saying that we can factor it out. X and x, negative 5, positive 5, negative 2. I'm just all crazy today. Here we go. Now, I know this is going to be x equals negative 5 and x equals 2. All right? So I found my 2 points. And my 2 points, I mean here and here in my quadratic, right? So now, I know that my answer is either cookies, which, if I look at it, this is negative 5 and this is 2, right? Cookies would be everything here and everything here, right? Or cream. If I look at it, it's negative 5, that's 2. Cream would be everything in between. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a point and check it. So let's see if it's in the cream. All right? What's the easiest point between negative 5 and 2? It's 0. So 0 squared, remember I'm looking at my original equation, 0 squared plus 3 times 0 minus 10 is greater than 0. 0 plus 0 minus 10 is greater than 0. Negative 10 is greater than 0. Well, that is not true. That is false. So cream cannot be right. So my answer must be cookies. So my answer is negative infinity all the way to negative 5. Okay? And because it's a greater than and not a greater than or equal to, I don't include negative 5. If I wanted to include negative 5, I would put a bracket, right? Just to show you a bracket looks like that. Okay? And then it's the union of that and the set 2 all the way to infinity. So this is my final answer. And I can check this by choosing some number in the cookies. Let's try 3. Okay? 3 squared plus 3 times 3 minus 10 is greater than 0. 9 plus 9 minus 10 is greater than 0. 18 minus 10 is greater than 0. And that happens to be true because 8 is greater than 0. Okay, let's try another one because I know that you are loving this. Okay, x squared minus 2x is less than or equal to 2. Well, now I've got to get everything over, so x squared minus 2x minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, now I can't solve this by factoring, so I'm going to use the easier way, which is just the quadratic equation, right? So negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2 all over 2 times 1. Okay, so it would be 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 8. See, negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8 times 1 is a positive 8 over 2 equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 12 over 2 equals 2 plus or minus, let's do this in the corner in my brain over here, see, a 2 comes out, so that equals 2 times the square root of 3. Okay, now I'm going to try to factor this by taking out a 2. And because this is outside of the parentheses, I can cancel that. So this is my final answer. Well, all that I've done here is found my 2 points. 1 plus the square root of 3, 1 minus the square root of 3, right? And if I imagine a number line, 1 minus the square root of 3 would be over here. 1 plus the square root of 3 would be over here. So what's a number that's in between these that I can check to see if my answer is cookies or cream? Well, 0, nice work if you can get it, is always the best number to choose because it's the easiest, right? So let's try this out. Remember, it's x squared minus 2x is less than or equal to 2. So let's try that. 0 minus 2 times 0 is less than 2. 0 minus 0 is less than or equal to 2. 0 is less than or equal to 2. Yes, that is true. So my answer is cream. And remember, cream is just what is in between here. Okay? And this time, I do have these brackets because it's inclusive of the number 1 minus the square root of 3. So this is a possibility too. So it's 1 minus the square root of 3 by 1 plus the square root of 3. Bracket. That's it. Okay? Let's try one that is a cubic. It's a little bit more challenging. Okay? 4x cubed minus 4x equals 0. Okay? First we're going to factor. 4x x squared minus 1 equals 0. And I recognize this is a difference of squares. So 4x times x plus 1, x minus 1 equals 0. Now, what would this have to be to make the whole thing 0? 0. What would this have to be? Negative 1. What would this have to be? 1. So these are my 3 answers. So if I looked at a number line, these are my three possible answers. So I need to check this, 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 and this, okay? But I'll show you a secret. If it's going to be this, it'll also be this one. If it's going to be this, it'll also be this one. And the reason is because a quadratic looks kind of like this. So you can see how if it's greater than 0, it'll be these two. If it's less than 0, it'll be these two. Okay? Just like cookies and cream, but it's kind of like cookies and cream with cream on top. Okay? So now I'm going to check. And I can check every one. Give me something that is less than -1. How about -2? 4 times -2 cubed minus 4 times -2 equals 0. Well, the -2 cubed is -8, so 4 times -8 minus, actually it's a plus 8. 4 times -8 plus 8, that's going to be -24 plus 8, right? Sorry, 32 plus 8 equals -24. Well, -24, let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. I don't want to lead you guys astray. Sorry, I put equals 0, but it's less than or equal to 0. Okay? Alright, is -24 less than or equal to 0? Yes, it is. So this one should work. So that means that this should work as well, right? So these two should not work. Well, let's see if it doesn't. Let's try the number 2, which is over here. And this should not work if I'm correct. 4 times 2 cubed minus 4 times 2 is less than or equal to 0. 4 times 8 minus 8 is less than or equal to 0. 4 times 8 is 32 minus 8. 24 is less than or equal to 0. No. So that one does not work. And this one does not work. So these are my answers. So my final answer would be -infinity to -1. Remember, I'm using the bracket because of this less than or equal to sign, right? But I don't use a bracket here because you can never get to infinity. And that's in union with 0 to 1. Just like that. And I'm done. Okay, there's one more thing that I want to show you, and that's a special case that's a rational inequality. And it's the same idea, right, but we get the answers a little bit differently. So, first of all, is there a number that's notable? A number that is a limitation that is I should be thinking about? Well, I know the bottom can't be 0, right? So I know the bottom, x, cannot equal -4. I know that for a fact, so I'm going to put that in my brain. Okay? Now, if I wanted to solve this, I would multiply both sides by x plus 4. And that would get rid of this, just like if this was a 3 on the bottom, I could multiply both sides by 3 and get rid of it, right? So that's going to give me x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 2x plus 8. Okay? And then minus x minus x, -3 is greater than or equal to x plus 8, minus 8, minus 8. And then I have -11 is greater than or equal to x. Okay? So now I've got two numbers to deal with, a -4 and a -11. Alright? So what I'm going to do is same thing, create a number line, -4, sorry, -11 and -4, that's 0, right? And I just put 0 there for fun. Okay, but these are the only two I'm interested in. I'm going to look and see, is it going to be the middle or is it going to be the outside? Okay, well, let's choose a number. How about 0? It's on the outside. Okay, so 0 minus 3 over 0 plus 4 equals -3 over 4. Is that greater than or equal to 2? No, it is not. So that means that the outsides are not correct, so the inside has to be correct. So my answer is going to be negative 11 to 4. Now, why did I put parentheses here instead of a bracket? It's because I know that it can't be 4, because then the whole world would explode, remember? So it can't be 4, and that's why. And the more that we do these in class, and the more that you do these on your homework, the more that all of this will make sense, and the more that you will show up as the great mathematicians that you all are. That's it.